Hey you all, Carpetbagger here, coming to you live from the great state of Nevada, more specifically Las Vegas. And I receive a request to go to a certain attraction way more than any other, and that is Zak Bagans Haunted Museum. The building's right here. Now unfortunately, you're not allowed to film in Zak Bagans Haunted Museum, but I still wanted to give it a check out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in there, experience it, then share my thoughts and opinions on the experience with you folks. I don't know that much about Zak Bagans himself. I know he is a paranormal investigator. I know he's been on TV. I kind of remember being introduced to him on Ghost Adventures as this big jacked up guy that liked to shout at ghosts. He's like, come on ghosts, come out here and fight me. But it's been a long time. It's been a long time to see him. I really haven't followed his career or where he's at. But this looks inviting, and a haunted museum, sign me up for that. So follow me. I'll see you on the other side.
Are doing. Are you okay?
Oh wow, these dolls actually belong to Shirley Temple.
I feel a lighter female. I feel actually a spirit. Dead spirit.
If anyone has any gum or water bottles, I'll ask if you could please.
Okay, so I'll just tell you right now, I'm very disappointed. Very disappointed that I could not film in there, because it was one of the best things I've ever seen in my entire life. Oh my goodness. I don't even know where to start. I'll start with my one complaint. They have guided tours, which normally I don't really like. I like to go at my own pace. I like to see things. They do have a guided tour. They take you through kind of quickly. I say quickly, but the tour's over an hour long because there's just so much stuff in there to see. So a lot of times you're like walking past stuff that looks amazing. You're like, want to check it out and see it more, but they just keep moving you. You're like, wait a minute, there was a two-headed demon baby in that glass, right? Okay, we're not going to look at it. Okay, that's good. But yeah, and one of the first things they tell you when you come in, they say our tour guides are going to tell you about all the significant items in a room. If a tour guide doesn't mention it, it's not significant. Basically, don't ask about stuff in there. The explanation they give is that Zak Bagans thinks it's cool. Zak Bagans thinks something's weird, creepy, or awesome, then he sticks it in here. And Zak Bagans, I like your style. There is creepy taxidermy. There is dolls everywhere. Dolls, lots of dolls. There's moving animatrons. There's wax figures. It's like everything creepy I love, just scattered everywhere. Just the entire museum is just full of just random creepy things. I could spend 8 hours in there just looking around. Oh my goodness. So let's start from the beginning. So this is an old mansion. It's a genuine old haunted, I guess, mansion. So kind of what I was expecting, honestly, was maybe a more dry experience, you know, some haunted stuff in boxes and you know, and ghost hunting equipment. But no. Zak Bagans has style. This is entertainment. This is pure entertainment. It is every inch of it is themed. It's like a haunted house. Well, I guess it is a haunted house, but like a haunt, like a Halloween style attraction. There's creepy music playing everywhere. There is awesome lighting. There is just awesome theming on everything, plus the amazing artifacts just everywhere, and just the random stuff. There's Zak Bagans must have like the most incredible collection of just random creepy things that you could possibly imagine. So they take you in. There's a parlor that's just, oh my gosh, the parlor could be its own museum. There's again taxidermy wax figures, there's animatronics moving, there's like old like an old fortune-telling machines. It just, anything you can imagine is like in this one room. There's a box with 13 skulls in it. There's two certified haunted dolls. There's a Lily the doll. I forgot the other one's name. That was a new one. I forget her name. But anyways, so they take you on the room, and then they have a closet full of, this goes called the special haunted doll closet, and that's for volunteers to go in. And of course I volunteered. I wanted to go into the haunted doll closet. So you go in there, it's a very small closet, and there's just all these dolls just up and down. You see all the dolls looking at you, and then suddenly you get jump scared because one of them runs and screams at you, and it is a little person, like a 2-3 foot tall lady comes at you screaming, reaching, like it's like a double jump scare, because at first you think maybe it's like like an animatronic, and then you realize it's a real person coming at you, and it was great. It was great. It was the greatest. So I'm trying to keep straight in my head like all the cool stuff I've seen. It's really expansive, and I know I'm gonna forget. I'm gonna forget certain things in here that I wish I would have mentioned. Oh yeah, there's a Zoltar style Zak Bagans. There's a fortune teller Zak Bagans. He looks like him. He's got the Zak Bagans glasses, the hat, and the little beard, and you put $1 in there, and he gives this spiel. I know they have several satanic items. They do have a set of satanic ritual things from Anton LaVey, the founder of the Church of Satan, but then also they have some old school satanic things, and by satanic I mean like real satanic. There's a difference between Satanists like Anton LaVey and Satan worshippers. They have a dagger that was used to sacrifice infants. That's messed up. Yeah, one huge big ticket item in here is Dr. Kevorkian's death van. Now I saw Dr. Kevorkian's death machine at the Museum of Death in New Orleans, and that's another thing I couldn't show you because they don't want to film me in there either, but they had the whole death van. Apparently, I didn't realize this about Zak Kevorkian, but he operated out of a van. He would lay people down in the back of his van. Originally he used chemicals to kill people, and I think he actually later would hook them up to the exhaust of the van and kill them. And it was, I think, over 200 people he killed in that van, and it's sitting right there in the freaking museum that has its own room. And they treat like the big items with like a lot of reverence. Like they get their own room that's like themed around it. They have the Ed Gein room. I've never seen an artifact from Ed Gein before, but you walk in and it's like a barn, and there's like a crash of lightning over your head. They have Ed Gein's shovel and a pot that Ed Gein used to boil human remains in. It's crazy. They say that's cursed. And they do sprinkle in a lot of paranormal stuff, and I'm not as knowledgeable at paranormal things. They said like that Ed Gein's human cooking barrel is cursed. They said 6 men lifted it out of a barn. They all died within 6 months. And I think there's a lot of emphasis on like negative energy being in things. Oh, and that reminds me, you have to sign like a 2-page waiver that, you know, anything that bad happens to you by spirits is your own fault, not Zak Bagans. Don't sue Zak Bagans. Sue the spirits. They have like a jail room that's kind of typical with like serial killer museums. They have a lot of serial killer art. 100 Pogo the Clowns from John Wayne Gacy. I swear to you, John Wayne Gacy was the most prolific artist of our generation. I have seen more John Wayne Gacy Pogo the Clown paintings than I ever want to see, ever. They had a serial killer Santa suit. There was a man, I'm forgetting a lot of the names, so there's a lot of names, but there was a man who was tying up people and killing them and putting them in barrels, and he also was Santa Claus, like he did Santa Claus appearances. They had his Santa suit. And then there was like a dead celebrity room. which had some disturbing artifacts, had some disturbing Michael Jackson artifacts. They had the chair that Michael Jackson's doctor would pump medication into him. They had Michael Jackson's makeup kit that was purchased after his death. There was skin lightening cream in there, proving once and for all that he was lightening his skin. I guess that's already been proven there, I guess. And some very disturbing artifacts in there. They had condoms, a little boy's watch, and a Christmas ornament that said Randy on it. But the dead celebrity room was probably one of the most crazy, freaking things. Jerry Lewis, the comedic actor from like Nutty Professor. He was in the original Nutty Professor. Well, he made a movie called The Day the Clown Cried about a clown that worked in a concentration camp and helped lead kids to the death chamber. And apparently it was so horrible, so dark, so upsetting, and just distasteful that Jerry Lewis disowned the movie. He wrote the movie, he created the movie himself. He said, I don't want anyone to ever see this movie. It was discontinued, and until 2024, when it drops into, I don't know if it's a public domain, but apparently in 2024 it's going to be released by the Library of Congress. To this day, like no one has seen it. Maybe I guess a few people must have seen it. It's never been released. They had a short clip from that movie, I guess a test screening, and they had the outfits that he wore in this, one of the most legendary movies that no one has ever seen, The Day the Clown Cried. Oh yeah, I'm like forgetting artifacts. They had Bela Lugosi's spirit mirror. Apparently he would summon spirits in it, and they had a black curtain over it. You know, a lot of the artifacts, you know, they tell you, you know, you have a choice whether or not you want to experience it or not. Of course, I looked right into Bela Lugosi's mirror. I didn't see anything too bad. I think the explanation they had was that he had opened some sort of demon portal, and that it had never been shut, and that it still caused people to have experiences, so they kept it covered with a cloak. After the dead celebrities room, you get jump scared again. You go into this nook full of taxidermy, and then like this door, I had my back to this one wall, and it freaking opened, and I freaking jumped and screamed like a little girl. There's a lady standing behind it. They took us into like the seance room. I guess Zak Bagans uses the seance room to perform all his seances. Again, I don't know a lot about Zak Bagans, but except I like his style. And I guess this is where he films his seance scenes for his show. They take you into a Barnum room, like P.T. Barnum, which has a lot of, you know, freaks, curiosities, things of that nature. And then you actually get to see a live freak show. There's a freak performer in there, and wow, what a performer he was. I again turned into a little girl. What's that behind me? Is that a ghost?
Take your picture for you?
No, I'm good, thank you. Where was that? Okay, circus performer. He was oh my goodness, he said he performed on a talk show, but I forget which one it was. But so first he pulls out a drill about that long, I think 6 inches, freaking sticks it up his nose, just sticks it all the way, and then, and this is what just like, okay, put me on the floor. I have a thing about eyeballs. He took the hooks, I'm having a hard time even talking about this, put the hooks in his eye sockets. He put it underneath his eyeball, one hook under each eyeball. He hung it from, he hung a bucket of water from his eyes, and he rocked it back and forth, and oh my gosh, it's horrible. It's horrible. It's the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's amazing. I respect his talent. It just makes me want to vomit violently. Oh my goodness. Then it just goes full-blown haunted house on you, and you have to walk through the fun house, which is basically just a hallway full of clown figures, and it's really spooky. You know, again, this is like top-notch haunted house stuff in here. You walk through this hallway of clowns. Of course, you get freaking jump scared by animatronic clowns. A lot of jump scares. So this again, it's this fun. This is entertainment. This isn't stodginess. This isn't like paranormal elitism. This is fun. This is fun. Yeah, there's a lot of haunted dolls. There's another murder doll that had like blood on it. Apparently a girl was present when her mom murdered her dad, and there was still blood on this doll in the display case. But apparently, and I don't know a lot about the backstory here, but there is a famous haunted doll they have in there called Peggy. Apparently the story is, I think it was on eBay, and the story was that people that would see her picture would actually become nauseous, faint, they would have heart problems. They alleged that the U.S. government had contacted eBay about taking this listing down, which apparently was taken down. So they have Peggy in there. She sits in a room. There's animatronic other dolls like moving around her to make her extra creepy. And then they have a spirit box in front of her. The spirit box is like a radio that flips through stations to try to pick up words and voices, and it's just running, and it's really creepy. And the guy's trying to get her to talk. They didn't say anything that was impressive to me, but it was still kind of just an eerie, creepy, amazing experience. They have the head of a witch. It was a man that was executed for witchcraft, and then apparently his head was dug up because they did not want a witch's head in a consecrated cemetery. So they dug him up, burned his body, and cut his head off. And Zak Bagans has his head in a special case. In the museum, you walk through a dark corridor. You see the witch's head, and then you walk out. And apparently, there's an item in there that is like the holy grail of haunted items. It's called the Dybbuk, I think, Dybbuk box. It was a box where a Holocaust survivor felt that she was being followed by a devil or a satanic spirit. So she sealed the spirit in a box, and apparently it has caused multiple experiences, multiple deaths are associated with the box. Apparently a man gave it to his mother as a present. His mom immediately had a stroke and never spoke again. And then in the hospital, all she communicated was writing the words "hate present" on a piece of paper. She hated the present because it made her have a stroke and made her go blind and paralyzed her. I would hate that present too. But yeah, you go in to the Dybbuk box room. It's surrounded in sage and salt. Very creepy. I'd like to learn more about this Dybbuk box. I'd like to learn a lot more about a lot of the haunted items. Peggy, the Dybbuk box, things like that. Apparently there's been movies made about the Dybbuk box as well. I don't know this guy's name, but they take you into a room where they have the full setup where a serial killer was torturing victims. He was tying them up, doing horrible things to them, and electrocuting them, and taking photos of their torture. This is really rough stuff. And the bed that he tortured him on is preserved, and it even has feces on it from the last victim. So yeah, Zak Bagans does like this horror crime stuff better than a lot of the crime museums that you see. And then something that I had no idea was here. Apparently, when Charles Manson died, he was cremated, and they gave the ashes, I guess, to his next of kin, which was his grandson, I believe. And his grandson was friends with Zak Bagans. Grandson was not proud to be the grandson of Charles Manson, and apparently he changed his name to not have the last name Manson. He gave the remains the box of ashes. It's a clear box. You can see bones in it, and it is in the museum. You can just peek right in there and see Charles Manson's remains in a little box. And they have the cursed mirror from the captain of the Titanic. They said that apparently when you on the date of the Titanic, if you stare into the mirror, you can see him. Then the final exhibit was the Gary Demon House, where it was Gary, Indiana, which is not far from where I grew up. I'd never heard this story, that this was a haunted house. Apparently a child protective service worker watched a kid walk backwards up a wall and quit her job, which I was a child protective service worker. I would probably quit my job if a kid walked backwards up a wall. But apparently this house, he said that his entire filming crew was possessed. So yeah, he bought the house and he demolished it, but he kept the staircase and then some artifacts that were uncovered underneath the house, and they're on display. And interesting, it's like the walls drop down so you can peek in and see the artifacts from the demon house, and then you put them back up. I guess I almost feel like they're trying to like block out bad spirits or something of the like. So yeah, the Zak Bagans Museum, and there wasn't a over-reliance on creepy, spooky stories or footage. This was an experience, a visceral experience. You see things, you get to get near things. The aesthetics of it are done to absolute perfection. I would probably put this in my top 10 favorite attractions, and I don't even watch Ghost Adventures. I hardly know who Zak Bagans is. I hate that they wouldn't let me film, but I really can't hold that against them because this museum is just so great. I feel like I'm like being a fanboy about this museum, but this is the real thing. I would say it's very expensive to get in, $44 a person to get in. But if you like creepy stuff, if you like haunted stuff, if you like just, you know, anything in that dark realm, I would say treat yourself to Zak Bagans Haunted Museum when you're here in Las Vegas. Anyways, thank you for watching. Again, I wish I could have shown you a little more in there, but if you'd like to look down in the description, there's other places that I have filmed, and you can check all those out. If you'd like to help support the channel, consider buying a t-shirt, consider donating to Patreon. If you donate at least $3 a month, I will send you a postcard. But for now, from Zak Bagans Haunted Museum, this one's in the bag.